Alright, decided to kind of start a new, section or something, topic type deal. We're going to talk about different types of issues. So, if you want me to talk about a particular issue, go ahead and put it down in the suggestions or the comments down there. Um, so today I'm going to talk about death penalty. Um, for those who don't know, I was a correctional officer. Um, and at the prison I worked, we had death row. And, um, basically, um, my feelings on the death penalty are I'm a supporter of the death penalty partly. Uh, the reason I do support the death penalty is because I believe that there are people that are too dangerous to be left alive. I really do. Um, these are people that basically do not have the mental blocks or whatever terminology you want to use to stop committing violent and heinous crimes. Um, some murderers, most sexual offenders. Um, and first off, let me tell you this: the one thing I really can't stand about the death penalty is when people talk about, oh, it's simple. No, it's not. Anytime you're talking about ending another person's life, it is not that simple. Even if you got some guy, some girl, whatever, who is carrying a running chainsaw, running at you, screaming, "I'm going to kill you," and you shoot them, it is not that simple. That's probably what the simplest, but it's still more complex than most people will give credit. Anyway, back to death penalty. Um, the thing I do not agree with is one, a deterrent to crime. If it was a deterrent to crime, why are there people still going on death row? I mean, granted, you know, there's going to be a few that just don't get it, you know, don't care, what have you, but at least you're going to have some sort of decrease. Um, Secondly, I do not like it to be used for political means. What I mean is a young prosecutor, um, or even an old prosecutor, who wants to score election points or re-election points generally will push for the death penalty in certain cases just to look good. Judges looking for election or re-election, I guess, because you have to be elected to be a judge in the first place. So anyway, are going to sometimes push death penalty to gain election or re-election points. To me, that is just wrong. You are basically playing with a person's life to keep your job, which to me is just wrong. Um, and that's a completely separate issue on that one. Because I see, like, you can have an inmate who's killed 12 people who gets 60, 70, 80 years or whatever in prison, and then you get somebody that killed one, he gets death penalty. It's all circumstantial to where, the prosecutor, the judge, the defense lawyers, you know, all this stuff all plays into it, which is why it's not that simple. Um, I also don't understand why. I mean, I understand, but why does it take 15, 20 years? I read a thing, I don't know if it's true or not, but even if it's not, it's really interesting that you have a higher chance of dying of natural causes on death row than being executed. Which is, to me, is just, that's nuts. You know? Um, I personally think it should be a year. You have 1 year to make sure everything's legit on your side or your affairs are in order or what have you, and then you're executed. You know? I also think that if you are seeking the death penalty, you had better make sure that everything is legit. I heard of a case where a man was on death row, like 6 years or something, had 3 execution dates, and was finally exonerated because at the time of the murder, he was in jail. I mean, seriously? Being in lockup is the second best alibi ever. Being dead is number one. Okay? Because you're dead. You know, ain't no question you didn't do it. Um, so that's why I think if in any death penalty case, there had better be at least 7 or 8 checks or whatever before you sentence, you know, or at least a sentence is carried out. I would actually be kind of open to, if you're going to seek death penalty, you have to go through at least 2 trials minimum, just to make sure, because, and to me this is horrendous, prosecutorial misconduct. You are, okay, this is something a lot of people like talk about. When, let's say, Indiana executes somebody, okay, the state is executing them. The state is every citizen of the state of Indiana. It means all of us. It means me. And if I am going to allow my state to kill somebody, I want to make really sure that it's the right person. Because if not, I mean, I understand things don't come up. Like, let's say that particular case I just mentioned. Let's say that prosecutor did everything in their power. And then after the execution, some clerk goes, "Oh, well, I forgot to hand you this." Say he was in jail. Say, sorry. Well, then, obviously it's not the prosecutor's fault. It is that clerk's fault. And I believe that person should be, um, at minimum, fired. Because your mistake just killed somebody. You know? So, I can't remember what her name was. But this woman who, I feel bad for smiling because it is kind of not funny, but it is kind of, wow. She actually survived the Holocaust. And she's an anti-death penalty proponent. And her argument is one of the most perfect arguments I ever heard. And basically it goes like this. If you support the death penalty for the murder of another human being, and one person is wrongly executed, you are a murderer, and therefore deserve the death penalty. To me, that's wow. Yeah. I mean, I hate to say it because, I do support the death penalty, but I do agree with that. Um, I also understand, though, that innocent people will always die. There's nothing we can really do about it. We can do all we can to minimize that. And one of those is to make 100% that this person is guilty. You know, so to sum everything up, I do support the death penalty. I do not support the way it is used. I'm not talking about the method, um, but I don't believe it should be used for political gain. I don't believe it should be used as a deterrent because it doesn't work. I do believe it should be used, however, to eradicate, well, people not worthy of life. And that's another thing. I understand that if you put, like, rape as a capital offense, why should the rapist leave the victim? If the rapist is going to kill, or the rapist is going to get the death penalty, whether he gets caught, whether he kills them or not, might as well just kill him and lessen his chance of being caught or hurt. So, There you go. That's my viewpoints on that. Go ahead, ask any questions you want. If you have a suggestion about any other issues you want me to talk about, put them in the comments.